Hello, welcome to Community Matters. This is your host, Becky Steinbrunner. I'm honored to be here with you for the next 2 hours and appreciate you listening to the program. I want to first thank Satellite Workspace and Digital Media Center for the wonderful space in which our studio, the Santa Cruz Voice Studio, is located. That's at 325 SoCal Avenue in Santa Cruz. That's between Ocean Street and the beautiful San Lorenzo River. We are here in this building with community television, and you can be here too. For your remote workspace, it is a very clean, quiet, comfortable, and secure place that you can rent by the hour, by the day, by the week, whatever you need to do remote work and schedule a meeting space. There are meeting spaces available for you to also enjoy, as well as mail collection. If you don't want to have your mail sent to the post office box, you can have it sent to Satellite Workspace and Digital Media Center. Great place. Come check it out. Again, at 325 SoCal Avenue in Santa Cruz. This afternoon, our first hour is we're honored to have on the phone here with us the brand new CEO of the Santa Cruz County Fairgrounds. Her name is Dori Rose Inda, and she is carving out some time for us to talk with us about the fair coming up next week. Let's see if we can get her here. Hello, Dori, can you hear me?
I can. Becky, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for taking time. It must be pretty crazy there at the Santa Cruz County Fairgrounds.
It's a little hectic getting ready for the fair.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I very much appreciate your taking time to be with us today. May I call you Dori?
Of course.
All right. Thank you. You are pretty new as the CEO of the Santa Cruz County Fair and Fairgrounds. Please introduce yourself to the public. And again, thank you for joining us here today for 30 minutes. Thank you very much.
I am so pleased to be with you here today and to be able to share about our upcoming fair with your audience. So thank you for inviting me. Did I miss your first question?
No. No. Tell us a little bit about who you are. Let's do that because you're in a new job, and some of us may know you, but some may not.
I am very new. It's true. This is week 5 on the job for me at the Santa Cruz County Fairgrounds as CEO and fair manager, and it's an exciting new venture for me, particularly exciting since fair is starting next week. So that's been quite an adventure to jump into it head first, feet first, however that saying goes. I'm not sure, or both maybe.
Submerged.
Submerged, yeah. Just to introduce myself in my 30-second sort of summary of background that I'm coming out of a little bit of sort of semi-retirement and consulting work. Prior to that, I spent a little more than a decade at Salud para la Gente, which is a community health center, largest one in the county, and mostly serving South County through all times and all events, but also through COVID. And then prior to that, I was the director of the Watsonville Law Center for the decade, and a little more than a decade prior to that, the legal aid office in Watsonville. And before that, I was in law school, and before that, I was a social worker for the County of Santa Cruz in Child Protective Services. So that's my background.
Wow.
And I have been a resident of Watsonville for over 30 years and raised my family there, and very, very happy to be a Santa Cruz County resident.
Yeah.
And helping this county enjoy its fairgrounds.
Yeah. That's a very interesting background. And then to jump into being the manager of the fairgrounds, what made you want to do this new job?
It's a great question, and I think when I saw this job open, as you can hear from my background, I've spent my career in community service, and in really sort of frontline community service, direct services, and this job felt like an opportunity to continue to be in the service of community, not quite in as direct service focused, but in a way in which creating and ensuring there was access to sort of the beauty and all the activities and all that comes with the fairgrounds was available for the whole community, and that sort of joy, learning, all the different experiences people have when they come out here continues into the future. So that was really what attracted me, and sometimes just the thought of goats or pigs or horses,
Yeah. Well, and we can talk about this a little bit later if there is time, but it is important that people know that the fairgrounds is owned by the state of California, and that it serves many purposes. In my opinion, one of the greatest services it offers is during times of emergencies and evacuations. I have been there in those times, and it's a huge piece in the county that the fairgrounds provides. And I don't know if you want to talk about that, but the fairgrounds is a bigger place than just the county fair, isn't it? A lot of other uses.
Absolutely, and you've definitely raised one of the most important, is that we are the site and location that our local emergencies, people who are displaced by emergencies, can find shelter and safety, and be able to sort of get through that transition time in partnership with the county and the city and the state. It is owned by the state, and that is a really important purpose that we have, for sure. I would say also that another really important value the fairgrounds has year-round found ways to help sort of bridge the gap of understanding how important our fruits and vegetable agriculture connections are historically in our region. That's another great asset of the fairgrounds, that it provides that. And there's so much year-round that it offers the community, and so much maybe that it can continue to do or grow into as well.
Yeah, indeed. Well, here we are. Next week is the Santa Cruz County Fair opening day on the 10th. And tell us what's going on at the fairgrounds now in preparation for that, and what can we all look forward to when we go to the county fair next week?
Well, to the first part of your question, there is I would say a really hectic but fun, if not sometimes frantic, preparation going on to get everything, all the aspects ready for the fair, physically laid out and set up and prepared. And there's so many parts of the fair. It's funny, as a resident and a fair goer, you come in and you see all the exhibits, and you see attend one or two or three of the events that are happening while you happen to be at the fair. And I personally had never thought about the back end of what it takes to have all of that ready to go to everyone who flows through for 5 days straight from morning to night. And there's a lot of pieces to that. So that's all happening. It's been happening for quite a while. By the time I started, so much planning had already been done, and so much was already in place. And I think right now it's that sort of frenzy of implementation, right? Hands-on, everything that's been planned is getting put into place.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the second part of your question was, I think,
What can we
about the
look
fair itself.
forward to? Yes. What can we look forward to when we go to the fair next week?
Well, I think you can look forward to almost all the things you're used to looking forward to, and then there's some new things. Um, I would say uh, the one thing that people won't be able to see this year, or two things actually, related to avian flu that we are all familiar with, is that we won't have chickens in the poultry barn this year. We're not able to do that, although we are working on eggs hatching. So we may have chicks. We
Mm.
may have chicks.
Mm-hmm.
And we won't have dairy cows either, which if you're like me, that was one of my favorite things. It is one of my favorite
Yes.
things to do. So
Yes.
this year we won't have the dairy cows, but next year we'll hope for in next year. So that's something people should know, I think, before coming, just to temper any expectations about that. But we have a lot of all the other things are here. In fact, I've heard there are baby pigs arriving Monday, and all the other animals will be here. The horse shows, um, the exhibits that are so incredibly inspiring of people's homemade or artistic
Yeah.
talents, and I just love all of that as well. So all of that is here. I
Well,
have some new things
let
that
me
are
interrupt
happening
you
that I could
before you
share.
jump into the
Sure.
new things. I know people who may not, who may be hearing this for the first time. What? No chickens? No dairy cows? How come? Do you want to explain that to the audience?
I don't have much more explanation than what I just shared, which is that the restrictions around avian flu are keeping us from having those animals on exhibit, uh, because there has been um, dairy cows affected also, and of course many chickens affected. So
Yeah.
we at the fair, when we have any of the animals, they come from many different sources and
Yeah.
lots of different owners. So we are not able to do that this year.
And it was actually brought about by an order issued in the spring, quite early, by the state veterinarian to not allow any poultry or dairy exhibits throughout the state. That's big, isn't it? So, well, let's hope we get through
Yeah,
this avian flu and next year we can all come back and enjoy that. So, you were starting to
I
tell us about the new things.
I know I'm going to give you my prior healthcare position, is that those cautionary measures are how we will come out of uh, those kinds of uh, the avian flu more quickly. So
Yeah.
I for one appreciate the sort of more caution now to have more fun later.
Mm, mm-hmm. Agreed. So what's new? And let me ask this question right out the door about the drone show. I've been talking with
Oh,
people.
sure.
Last Saturday, the Watsonville Municipal Airport had a drone show, and a drone went amok and caused some injuries and damage. What are you looking at in terms of the drone show for the Santa Cruz County Fair that is scheduled to happen nightly?
Yes, we just so our drone show is different. Um, we have very small drones, and the entire I don't have all the right words to describe, what a group of drones is called. There must be some word to describe that.
Yeah, I'm
But
sure there
it's
is.
all it's it's all FAA approved, and we have they're small. They're like a half a pound. They're very small. We
Ah,
have a licensed pilot flying them, which flying them means
controlling
uh,
the,
controlling them. You got it.
yeah.
And so we've got all of all of the measures in place to keep it very safe. It will be completely safe
Excellent.
And beautiful. I've
Yeah.
seen the preview to it, and it's got something for everybody.
Really nice. And that's going to be happening nightly in the car
Correct.
race arena primarily, but visible from all areas of the fairgrounds?
From the whole fairgrounds, that's right, at 9 o'clock
Beautiful.
every night.
Nice.
Great music, great light images, a lot of fun.
Excellent. What else do you have new this year?
So we have a bunch of new things, and the one that I find most fun to talk about, and I just saw a TV show about how it's probably made, is the Slime Lab. We're going to have a Slime Lab, which is a partnership with the Children's Museum of Discovery. So those of us of all ages who are kids, either inside or outside, will, I think, really have a good time with that. That is a hands-on, fun thing to play with. And we also are going to have Lucha Libre this year for 3 shows daily in the ballpark. That's going to be a lot of fun if you are a fan of Lucha Libre, which many people are. We have a Showtime circus. It's going to be a bilingual circus that is also going to be daily. And it will have a lot of fun and exciting things like some thrilling motorcycle tricks and acrobatics and things like that. So that will be very fun. Our hand spun and hand woven, used to be known as spinners and weavers, has moved this year, moved into the poultry barn, so you can see the beautiful things that they have made and how they make it there. And in fact, the poultry barn is kind of going to be a homestead pavilion where there will be demonstrations and learning opportunities about how to make things. That's a lot of fun. I really enjoy that. At least I personally enjoyed learning those kinds of things. So that, and I've explained the difference why the poultry barn is going to be used in different ways already. But we will, in the poultry barn, be able to let exhibitors show videos of their chickens. So even though we won't have live chickens, you can still view, and the folks who like to care for and do that sort of magnificent, beautiful. I mean, they are really stunning. I've from years past, the chickens that are shared. So you will be able to see that by video.
Will the poultry showmanship happen, or is that going to not be able to happen?
It's through the videos I just mentioned.
Oh,
That's
okay.
Exactly that.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm interested in that homestead pavilion. That sounds very interesting. Where can we see more about what's going to be happening there, and if there's a certain class like on preservation or food preservation, things like that? Or is it just going to be all exhibits?
I don't have the list of classes or presentations that are going to be made in front of me.
Yeah.
But I believe that they are in the guide. And then we'll have a daily list when people come each day for people to have an easy reference. And then we also have QR codes for people to easy view with their phone when they come in. So making it as easy as possible for people to find what they want, where they want, when they come.
Yeah. Nice. What I did a little bit of research, and so I have some things I have questions about the new, but do you have other things you want to tell us about?
I have just the music, but I think those are all listed, all the music and shows that are coming, that some are new, are in also the in the guide, and I know we're going to run out of time pretty soon, so I want to make sure if I can answer your questions, I will. And then my big disclaimer is that in 4 weeks, I have found that I'm not always able to answer all the questions. I will do my best, Becky. I will.
Now, you're doing a yeoman's job here, Dori, and I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate your time. Um, One thing I saw that's new is the Pro Wrestling Revolution. That's going to be something new. Is that
Yeah,
the Lucha Libre? Is
that's
that
what
what
I
you were
was
talking about?
referring to.
Okay. All right.
Exactly.
All
Yep, yep.
right. Excellent. How much will it cost people to get into the fair and park there this year?
So that depends on who you are and when you're coming.
Mm.
But seniors are $14, adults and youth 13 to 61. So seniors 62 and older, and adults and youth 13 to 61 are $22.
Mm-hmm.
Youth 6 to 12 or 11, and under 5 are free. Active military with their ID are free. Parking is $15, and I'm seeing a reference to valet parking in the guide, but we're not doing valet parking. So there is preferred parking online on the website. You can buy preferred parking for a bit more. And we will have buses looping around the parking lot to pick people up to make it easier for them to get in. And I think that's most, let's see, Senior Day, which is Wednesday the 10th, it's $10 for people who are 62 and over to
Excellent. And there's the Education Day on Thursday that was
That's
by
right.
lottery this year, and it's full, and that's always a really fun day to go to with your kids.
Yes.
But
Yes.
but that is full, so people have to
And
have
starts
already
early.
registered for that to
Yes.
get in. And I'm
That's right.
seeing, I have a really nice ad here in the Aptos Times that says cars with 5 or more passengers will get to park for free. Is that true?
It must be true if it's in the app.
We will say it is. I remember there is a carpooling advantage, and many
Yes,
people
there's a
last year.
carpooling advantage.
Yeah.
And Metro Santa Cruz has a free has free trips also. That I believe is also listed on the website. I happened to be at the bus station the other day, and the person from Metro came out and said, you know, there's certain stops that are, it's I think the 76 line, but I shouldn't say that on air because I'm not sure. But there's a particular line that is providing the free trips up here, and then you get a discounted entry as well. I think it's $7 off, something like that.
That's a
Yeah,
win-win all
and of
around.
course, it's a huge win, really. You know, both the carpooling and the bus to help keep down that really overwhelming traffic that can form getting in here and getting out. So highly recommend that.
Yeah. Well, we are nearly at the end of your time. I really want to thank you. One thing I did see that I think is new on the Santa Cruz County Fair Time website is the Code of Conduct. And I think that the board added that new this year just so fairgoers are aware of what the fair does expect of them. And I think that's new. Is there anything you want to say about that?
I'm just glad you highlighted it. And, you know, what's most important about the fair is the joy that it brings so many people.
Yeah.
Up to 50,000 is, you know, what comes through. So many kids, so many parents, so many grandparents, so many kids of all ages, right? All different backgrounds, and it's so much fun, and it is so important to keep it a safe environment for everyone to enjoy. And so it takes us all, as always, to create that environment.
It is. It's a wonderful place. I look forward to the fair every year. And is there anything else you want to say? What are you enjoying most so far about your new job here?
I think the moment that I got first excited about the job was probably 3 weeks in, a little over a week ago, when one of the exhibitors they were starting to pull together some of the, I think it was the quilts that they were looking at and beginning to take entries, and it all became very real just how expansive the hands and hearts and minds that contribute to the fair in so many different ways, with every animal and every quilt and every pie. It's a pretty inspiring thing when you think about not just the people who come to attend, but all the people who have brought something forward to share in that. So that's my favorite part so far.
Yeah. What has surprised you the most?
How very complicated.
The time has gone so quickly, and the fair is here.
Yes, it really, and there's so many moving parts to it. There really are. I've learned so much in these 4 weeks. So that it's every day there's a new surprise. Well, a fun surprise. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, Dori Rose Inda, the new CEO of the Santa Cruz County Fairgrounds, thank you so much for taking time out of your hectic schedule, right with fair coming next week, to spend some time here on Community Matters. If you want to just give one last thought or where we can get more information about the fair, please, the time is yours.
Well, Becky, I want to thank you for inviting me and sharing this with your audience. I'm so happy to spread the word and to get folks excited about it. So I appreciate this opportunity. And the guides are out. They are out everywhere. Growing Up Santa Cruz and Aptos Times and all of our local papers all have information. Our website is a great source. If you get to our website, Santa Cruz County Fair, it has the first place you look. You can click and see the guide, and you can just look for the day that you're interested in. You can see everything that's there.
Excellent.
So should be easy to navigate.
Oh, well, thank you so much for all your hard work. And Santa Cruz Voice will be broadcasting live from the Santa Cruz County Fair next week. So we hope to interview you there as well. And again, thank you very much, Dori, for taking time today. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Becky.
We'll
see you next week.
All righty. It's a great thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care.
You as well.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So you've been listening to a telephone interview with Miss Dori Rose Inda, the new CEO of the Santa Cruz County Fair and Fairgrounds. And as we talked a little bit about in her interview, she is new. This is week 5 of her new job. She comes from a very interesting background, mostly healthcare and law. So we can look forward to her changes in next year in how the fair operates, how the fairgrounds look. She's going to bring, I'm sure, a very positive thing to the Santa Cruz County Fairgrounds, and we look forward to going to the county fair next week. That's the 10th through the 14th. Some really interesting musical venues coming in, and a drone show, completely safe drone show happening every night, and lots of great exhibits. I think one of my favorite things of the county fair is going and seeing people that I haven't seen since last year at the county fair. It's a time when people reconnect. Last year, when Santa Cruz Voice was broadcasting live from the Santa Cruz County Fairgrounds, I was at the control, and this man walked up and started talking, and unsolicited, another man walked up, and they shook hands. They had not seen each other for 30 years. So it was a great thing, and both of them were stalwarts in the community, had grown up together, gone to high school together, and have been very active in the community, doing various things, but they reconnected at the Santa Cruz County Fair after 30 years. So plan to go to the fair. It's fun. It's a great community event. Do check out, as I mentioned in the interview, on the santacruzcountyfair.com website, up at the top, there is new a code of conduct, general rules. And probably, in my opinion, one of the most significant changes is that they will not allow pets or emotional support animals. They will not allow pets and emotional support animals. They do allow certified ADA dogs, but they must be on a leash or in a harness and under the control of the owner at all time. I have volunteered for years and years at the county fair in the poultry barn, and that was always an issue. People would walk in with their dogs, and the chickens would just go nuts. So if you are going to the Santa Cruz County Fair, leave your dog, your pets at home, unless they are a certified ADA support animal, and keep them on the leash if they are. And have fun. It's going to be very, very fun. All right. Well, thank you again to Miss Dori Rose Inda, the new CEO of the Santa Cruz County Fairgrounds. And again, the fairgrounds are available to the public year-round. It isn't just fair time. That's the busiest, most public within our county time, but there are always horse shows going on there. There are the car races on Friday and sometimes Saturday nights. Those are not happening during the fair time right now, of course, but they will resume, I think, in early October. And there are also all kinds of exhibits and the flea market every Sunday in the big parking lot area there. Lots of things going on at the fairgrounds all year long. And you can rent spaces. Lots of people have retirement parties there, quinceañeras, all kinds of things, because it is reasonably priced. It is reasonably priced and a very lovely venue. If you haven't been to the fairgrounds in a while, you should go just to see how beautifully kept it is. They've done a lot of work and continue to do so. So we have our second hour. We have in-studio guests that you're really going to appreciate, and that will be Dr. Matt Wetstein, the president of Cabrillo College, and his assistant, Miss Kristin Fabos, will be here in the studio coming in at 3 o'clock. So for the next 20 minutes, what I'd like to talk with you about is, as I have been weekly, because it is so critical, is the battery energy storage issue of the Santa Cruz County, and also still following up on what has happened and is happening regarding the Never Again Moss Landing Group and the cleanup now scheduled for the Vistra Moss Landing Battery Fire site. The media has announced that Vistra and the EPA will begin cleanup the end of this month. I think it's the 27th of September. There will be 2 truckloads per day, every day, for a year, taking batteries that can be recycled, lithium-ion batteries that can be recycled, taking them by truck to a recycling place near Reno. That's going to all be on our roadways, and we have to wonder what will the loads be covered? How will they be protected? Will the local highway patrol be alerted so they know to be watching for these vehicles and the inherent danger, hazard, possibility of fire with lithium-ion batteries, especially these. According to the article I read, the batteries will be discharged. Some of them are still charged. And they'll be trucked. There will also be 4 to 5 additional trucks per day taking loads of the building detritus, which we still do not know the contaminant levels therein. And to me, that is the most disturbing piece, to not be told or made public what is in that ash, in those pieces of concrete that were right there with that 4,000 degree fire and heavy metal plume going up. The EPA is responsible for all of that, and they are not telling us anything. A couple of weeks ago, my guest here was Monterey County 2nd District Supervisor Mr. Glenn Church, whose district includes Moss Landing. He has not even been able to get that information. And I'm sure that he has filed, along with other residents, a Public Information Act request or a Freedom of Information Act request in the federal sense, and nobody is getting any information. The California Public Utilities Commission is also supposedly conducting an investigation of what caused the fire. There's been zero information coming out. And that is what, in part, caused the Santa Cruz County Board of Supervisors to postpone reviewing the Santa Cruz County's draft battery energy storage system, or BESS ordinance. It was going to be held in September this month, but at the last Board of Supervisor meeting, the chairman of the board, Felipe Hernandez, submitted a letter asking that the board delay that consideration until November 18th because he wanted to get more information from the Moss Landing fire. He wanted to get more information from the Santa Cruz County Commission on the Environment, which has held 3 informational workshops for the public. And he wanted to get a sense of if Senator Laird's SB, I think it's 283, I might have that, it might be 238, I can't remember right now, but Senator Laird's bill that is likely, everyone says is likely to be passed, Supervisor Felipe Hernandez wanted more time to see the outcome of that. Supervisor Justin Cummings said, no, I think we're going to need more time because even if Senator Laird's bill does pass, it will have to be implemented, and we're going to need more time to see how that's going to play out. So he asked, and the board approved, a 1-year postponement of looking at the battery energy storage system ordinance for the county of Santa Cruz. 1 year. Well, what that has done is, and we're seeing it in the news now, reports from the project at 90 Minto Road in Watsonville that is in permit process and has been paying money to CAISO, the grid regulator, to be able to hook in to the electrical grid. They have to pay money for that, and they were told, yes, okay, we'll allow it as soon as you get your permits. But in the meantime, they still have to pay a lot of money. So they, meaning the developer of the 90 Minto Road project, the project is called Seahawk Energy Storage. The developer is New Leaf Energy, no relation to the local stores here. They're based in Massachusetts. There is now the indication in the news speaking with their CEO, Max Christensen, that, yeah, we can't wait around for a year for a permit. We can go instead to the California Energy Commission. And all we have to do is show that it is necessary and that it will provide benefit for the community. And that's about it. And they can sidestep all of the local jurisdictions. So it wouldn't matter what the Board of Supervisors comes up with in August of 2026 as an ordinance, because this project could already be permitted, and maybe even in the first stages of construction, with an opt-in certification from the California Energy Commission. Now, the one thing, it does take the CEC, the California Energy Commission, is given 270 days to make their determination, and they have to go through a certain set of procedures. One of them is environmental review, and one of them is to have public meetings, and one of them is to work with the county fire agency. So because I went to a state fire marshal battery energy storage safety symposium in Sacramento in July, wherein they were talking about the updates to the state fire code all around the battery issue, specifically lithium. That's the big one. It's the lithium technology that is so risky, that is causing a lot of this upgrade in change to the fire codes, because it is so risky, and if it catches on fire, there's nothing they can do. So what they can do is place requirements on the developers to make sure that the responders will be safe. So road widths, make spacing between the cargo containers that are filled with these lithium batteries, putting those farther apart, so if one catches on fire, it doesn't, or is less likely to heat up and catch the others on fire, and you don't have to use thousands and thousands of gallons of water keeping it all cool, and you don't have to are less likely to have to deal with the runoff that would come from the site. In this case, the 90 Minto Road site would drain directly into College Lake, which is now a water source as part of the portfolio of the Pajaro Valley Water Management Agency. So the fire agencies can do all that, and under fire code, fire districts can make more. I like the word Ed Mitchell, one of my guests recently from Never Again Moss Landing, said more additive requirements. I like that better than more restrictive. It just kind of sits a little better with some. More additive. So what could that look like? Well, let me read to you something that I found with the help of a good friend of mine working with the Stop Lithium BESS in Santa Cruz County, another good grassroots group. There are two of them, the NeverAgainMossLanding.org and the Stop Lithium BESS in Santa Cruz County. Those good people, they have put on 3 public town hall meetings. None of our county supervisors will do that, and you have to ask why. Anyway, this friend, Linda, helped me find this information, and I'm going to read it to you because it's significant. It is direct from the February 5th, 2025 meeting of the State Fire Marshal's Fire Alarm Advisory Ad Hoc Committee. That's a mouthful. But essentially, they have this subcommittee looking at fire alarms and possible updates to regulations. So this was on February 5th, 2025. It was item E, and I'm going to read it directly. Battery energy storage system for early fire detection. Chief, and this is State Fire Chief Crystal Sujecki, did this presentation. She informed the committee that Chapter 1207 will be the main section for the energy storage systems and will be monitoring what's going on in the IFC International Fire Code 2027 edition. The fire codes are all getting updated, and the new updates will take effect in 2027. And this is going back to the minutes, approved minutes of the February 5th, 2025 Fire Alarm Advisory Ad Hoc Committee for the State Fire Marshal. Guest Joseph Cervantes informed the committee that there are container units that are being shipped in that have pre-installed fire alarm equipment that is being installed by a non-licensed integrator or installer, and a lot of the systems installed are not listed. Member James Carver brought up the fact that, in his experience, he has seen many of these containers have passed the warranty period just from sitting on ships for years. Member David Myers attested to the previous comments and added that he has encountered over 50% failure rate when inspecting these containers. Let me read that again. Member David Myers attested to the previous comments and added that he has encountered over 50% failure rate for inspecting these containers. So that's one piece that we can ask our local fire districts in Santa Cruz County, Monterey County, wherever you are and are listening. This is a nationwide issue. But in California, especially, because we have a race to 2030 locally here to by Central Coast Community Energy and the Santa Cruz County Commission on the Climate Action Plan, that by 2030 we are going to have only 100% renewable energy source being used here. And that requires these battery energy storage grid scale systems, facilities be built. The state's goal is 2045, but locally, for some reason, they set it at 2030. So that is the rush. That is the rush. And lithium is, technology is there. It is very highly invested in already, and there's a lot of money behind it. So we have to impress upon our local fire districts to get in the driver's seat. And that is what over and over the presenters at that Sacramento Fire Safety Symposium said in July. Fire must take the lead. And we need to impress upon our fire leaders, and that's Pajaro Valley Fire District. The chief there is Chief Urbani, but the fire marshal there is Chief Jed Wilson, who is the one that is making the call on what has to be in place for fire restrictions, fire codes for grid scale batteries. And he is the one that is helping to review with Deputy Fire Marshal Chris Walters, the requirements for the Seahawk energy storage system at 19 Minto Road in Watsonville. It's off of Green Valley. And I am happy to tell you that in conversations with Chief Jed Wilson, he is eager to certainly protect the firefighters that would be having to respond, as well as the public. So write to your local fire chief, and you can find, wherever you live, you can find that on the website, on the internet. For the 19 Minto Road in particular, it is Pajaro Valley Fire District. And they will be having a meeting at the end of this month, I think it's September 25th, at their fire station, 5 p.m. on Casserly Road. That's the base of the mountains there. And go and speak up and tell them that you would support them taking more additive restrictions on or conditions on this project, which could include requirement that the developer, that the fire department test all alarm systems before the system goes online or is implemented, test them monthly, and that it must all be made public. The other issue could be that the plan for the risk assessment and the evacuation plan would be based on worst case scenario, not one battery burning up. And that's what the developers are basing their information on, one battery burning up. The worst case scenario would be what we saw in January of this year in Moss Landing. That was more than one battery burning up. We have to have confidence that the smoke plume modeling is accurate. We can ask that your fire department that the plume modeling be evaluated by a third-party impartial qualified engineer. We can ask that the developer pay for and maintain drones that would be used to surveil the site in the event of a problem, and that the Pajaro Valley Fire District people have a certified drone operator, not dependent upon the Santa Cruz County Sheriff's drone and operators. That's how it is right now. If there were a problem, that's where that permission and availability would have to come from. But that should be with the fire department that has to respond, in my opinion. There are different fire codes that you can look up, but as State Fire Marshal Crystal Sujeski said, Chapter 1207 will be the main section for energy storage systems. In my last couple minutes here, so write your fire department, write your fire chief, go to those meetings and speak up. And in the last moment here, I want to give you a very quick report on what happened at the Prunedale Grange last Sunday. I did go, and Mr. Scott Smith is a researcher and scientist and inventor who goes to many and has gone to many toxic sites where there have been industrial accidents. And he has flown out for the second time to do more sampling, has very preliminary results showing that, yes, there are problems, big problems. He will be my guest at the end of this month on the last Friday of the month at 2:00. So look forward to that. Look on the neveragainmosslanding.org website for more information about that. And also take a look at the Stop Lithium BESS in Santa Cruz County website, and you'll find information there. There'll be another town hall meeting coming up, hopefully the end of this month, so keep your eye there. You're listening to Community Matters. I hope you'll stay listening, because my next guests are leaders from Cabrillo Community College President Matt Wetstein and his assistant business manager Kristin Fabos. Stay tuned. It'll be great.
Which one do you want me to use, Becky?
You can decide which one you want here,
Okay.
the two of you.
All right.
If you want to have call-ins, you'll need the earphones. Otherwise, we won't.
Okay. Sounds good.
And I took the liberty of having time, so I brought you each a cup of water here.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
And a little thank you for making the effort to come to the studio.
Thank you.
Thank you. this and get ready for that. I'm not so good at this technology. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
And I did have that list of questions to guide us, but you don't have to stick to that if you
Okay.
don't want to.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good architecture for what to talk about.
Yeah, and time always goes much more quickly than you think. Do you
Right.
want to accept callers or no?
Sure.
Okay.
If they call in, I'm glad to take a question.
Okay.
How long do we have?
Hour? It goes till 4
Till
or just
4:00.
before?
Yeah. Do you have that time?
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
you have a working meeting afterwards, so if you
figure
need
it
to
out.
duck out
So,
and
all good. Thank
Okay.
you.
Very
Nice to see
good.
the car, so.
good. Are you going to work here? I mean, it's a
Yeah, where are
long.
we going to go?
I was thinking the ugly mug. I was
Oh,
down in
okay.
SoCal, so somewhere local to here.
That'll take you a while to
Yeah,
get there
yeah, we
in
don't
this
wanna do
traffic.
that.
though.
Yeah, if that's in
What's
SoCal.
convenient
Um,
to here?
you know, there's a
What about Abbott Square?
Starbucks right by the county building.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know if that works for you.
Right on the corner there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
That
just up
works.
Ocean.
That's
Water and
close.
Ocean.
Or we could go over to Abbott Square, but that might be too noisy,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
too public.
Yeah. They may have music or something going on there on a Friday.
Okay.
So,
Thank you. Starbucks.
let me think. What else?
That would work.
Starbucks would be all right.
Yeah, there is.
Can't be in party mode yet, and it's First Friday.
It is
So
First
Abbott Square might
Friday.
be crowded.
Yeah.
Kind of crowded.
Yeah.
Mm.
There is the Brand-supported library on Galt.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they have a community meeting room. I don't know if it's being used, but that's a good place.
Thank you.
We can just go to Starbucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the simplest. Okay, well, is there anything that you especially want to get out to the listeners today?
Housing for sure. It's on the
Yeah.
list.
That's
Yeah.
exciting.
Good news,
It's going to have a
exciting thing.
groundbreaking this month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
29th, it'll be here before we know it.
Yeah.
We're excited it's happening.
It's
Yeah.
been fun.
Great for students.
Yeah, it's going to be a real asset for students. And kind of a pressure relief for the housing crisis
Yes.
too.
Yeah. For us,
Yeah.
UC.
Maybe one of the things to talk about that is the bonds that we're going to sell are not taxpayer supported, like a local property tax
Very good.
bond.
That would be a good message. There seems
Very
to be
good.
some
Um,
confusion
yeah.
about that.
Because there are general obligation state bonds and
Ah,
then
good.
revenue bonds.
That would be very good information.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I think the first time I met you was with that housing bond measure. Chris Kirby and Carmen, I
Yep.
met
Mm.
with you. I was trying to think, what was that? Because I've worked on a lot of different things, but we met in...
Where's the bond? At a
Yeah.
restaurant, I think.
Yeah, I think we went to dinner.
Seacliff
And,
Inn.
yeah,
Huh?
Yeah.
yeah. It was about our college bond. Yeah,
Ah,
before measure.
that's right. That's right. That's what it was.
Too soon, Becky.
That makes sense.
Too soon.
All right, we've got about 15 seconds.
That was 5 years ago.
Right? Can we keep I take a picture?
Okay. You want to... All right. Welcome back to Community Matters. This is your host, Becky Steinbrunner. And I'm happy to have here in the studio my two guests. Are you hearing me in your microphones? Your earphones? You're not?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. You might adjust those. Well, they're working that out. Excellent. Okay. So we have from Cabrillo College, President Dr. Matt Wetstein. And you, Miss Kristin Fabos, you are...
Director of Marketing and Communications and PIO.
Excellent. Thank you. Do you want to move the microphone? It's adjustable, so you don't have to move yourself so much. And thank you.
It's good to be here.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you both for being here. I want to first of all welcome you. and wonder if you would introduce yourselves a little bit to our listening audience. Dr. Wetstein, we'll go with you first.
So I'm Matt Wetstein. I'm the president at Cabrillo, and the job that I do essentially is to ensure that the college is following all policies and state law, federal law. A lot of hiring, faculty, staff, employees, and also in delivering on the student needs for the district, which might be career training, might be transfer, might be just coming to take a course to advance a person's cultural or life interests or work interests. So it's a great job, and I'm in my 8th year, and I have, I think, something like 3 months, 27 days, and 72 hours left.
But who's counting?
I'm retiring at the end of December.
Yes. So. Wow, thank you. Ms. Fabos, please.
Thank you. I'm getting over my sadness of realizing that's got a little more than 3 months. I'm Kristin Fabos. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications and Public Information Officer, or PIO, at Cabrillo College. My office is responsible for marketing the good things, everything that happens at Cabrillo, advertising, promotions, everything that you see in the news, public relations, community relations, a little bit of government relations. And I've been at Cabrillo now 15 and a half years.
Wow. Well, thank you.
It's a wonderful place to be.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, thank you both for being here and for all that you do at Cabrillo.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Wetstein, you're retiring.
Yes.
How come?
It's partly, a lot of it's personal reasons. So for the time that I've been here at Cabrillo, my wife has still been teaching at University of the Pacific in Stockton.
Oh, wow.
So anybody who's had long distance relationship and knows what that means, this is an opportunity for me. I've reached a point where I'm old enough. I've got enough years of service in the state community college system that it makes a lot of sense to be able to spend more time with Cindy.
Yeah.
And do some things that we want to do while we're still relatively young and can travel and can still hike the world. And so there's some trips that we want to do. And so I also think it's a good time, I think, getting to the point of finishing some projects at Cabrillo and also starting the groundbreaking for our residence hall. Seeing that launch will be a really good way for me to exit and have someone come in who can see that project to the end and start a housing program at our campus.
We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment, but I read something, a piece that was in Lookout Santa Cruz in May.
Yes.
It was a rather doom and gloom piece.
I have that side of my personality.
And so I read that and I thought, well, have you seen, up to date anyway, the worry that you felt of funding cuts from the federal government change?
It's sort of a yes and no answer. I think part of what I communicated in that article, and it was also in my mind about retiring, is that the entry of the Trump administration and what I felt like was a growing attack on higher ed, higher education institutions, and specifically on some of the work that's being done around diversity, equity, inclusion efforts. I could see the writing on the wall. The Department of Education, for example, has a large set of funding for grants that are Hispanic serving institutions. There are Black serving institution grants and Native American and what are called ANAPC grants, Asian, Native American, Pacific Islander grants. And they're designed going back to the 1980s, early 90s, was to try to invest some federal funding into our colleges to address past inequities, where you know that there are, for example, lower success rates, lower attendance rates for Native American students or Hispanic students. So that kind of attack and assault on funding streams to lift up students that had been left behind in prior decades was bothersome to me. We've been very successful at landing HSI grants, Hispanic Serving Institution grants at Cabrillo. And certainly during my period at Cabrillo, we've gone from around 40% Hispanic enrollment to now 51%.
Nice.
And we've done some really good work in generating student success with some of that federal funding. We've eradicated the graduation gap between white and Hispanic students during that period. And then you coupled that with what I was seeing with some of the arguments and assaults with high prestige universities like Harvard, Columbia, Northwestern now, where the administration was canceling, health grants, NSF grants, all kinds of grants to these higher ed institutions, and in a way leveraging them to say, do this or we're going to pull $1 billion in funding, or is it, the threat with UCLA. So that's really troubling, and a pattern that I just found. I don't know that I can hang around for that. To our credit, at the community college level, we're often seen as a workforce engine and job training engine for communities, and we have a really good reputation both within the state of California and I think in the Congress for supporting community colleges and the mission that they provide for that. And so in some ways, Congress has been a bulwark to be in between some of that at the community college level. But it's still the case that directives come out from the administration about doing DEI work and threatening to decertify you for receipt of federal funds, for example, if you're doing that kind of work. And so the challenge for someone like me in a role as a president of the college is to tell our employees, tell our students that just because we're doing HSI work or doing equity initiatives or promoting diversity and improvement in diversity does not mean we violate the Constitution.
Right.
It doesn't mean that we're unequal in how we treat people. You can do both. Both of those missions are not mutually contradictory. And so the challenge then is to remind folks that we are an equal opportunity employer, we're an equal opportunity educator, and we're following the law, and we're not going to stand down from threats or intimidation. So,
Ms. Fabos, what do you want to say about that?
I completely agree. I think that it's the right thing to be doing in this moment. I feel like California law has protected and made allowances for that. And like Matt said, we are following the law. And we really made an effort over the past several years to double down on our DEI initiatives, specifically being declared an Hispanic serving institution, a federally designated Hispanic serving institution, and providing services and access for that population, which is now more than half of our student body.
Thank you. Are you sensing any further threats, so to speak, that you do this or else?
Not directly that we've received anything. For example, we had indirect exposure on one grant that was terminated back in May. It was a very small amount of money for a minority serving program. It was actually run out of Allen Hancock College down in Santa Maria. And we were a sub-grantee that had some students who were benefiting from employment and trips to other higher ed institutions to encourage them to become STEM educators.
Yeah.
And so that got canceled, but for our purposes that amounted to about $12,000 in funding that we were lost in that particular grant, which, by the way, was in the last quarter of the last year of the grant. And so you look at that kind of a cancellation and you think, really, that
why?
What's the purpose there in doing that? The worry is on existing grants that we have that are Hispanic serving, where we have multi-year, multi-million-dollar investments, which means staff are funded by those grants. You have student workers who are funded, tutors, peer mentors, ambassadors, students who are doing work in the high schools to attract and tell the story about Cabrillo College, that if they were to be canceled, that would be a threat and a loss of some funding that's significant.
How is enrollment going at Cabrillo? I saw it was actually down at UCSC, where applications. What's it looking like at Cabrillo?
It's an interesting year. We were, if you go back to COVID and think about the dramatic effect it had on everybody's enrollment, we were climbing back. Last year, I think we had made it back to about within 12% of our prior COVID level of enrollment. And this year, we're still down a little bit from last year. So we're going to have a little bit of fallback, somewhere around 2-3% down from prior year. My suspicion is that there are two factors on that. One is just the demographics of this county. If you look at high school graduation rates from this spring, there actually was a loss of about 200 students from prior year who graduated from high school. That's our traditional supply, bread and butter students coming to the college who are transferring or coming in from high school. They just graduated. So some loss there. And I also worry about loss in the sense of students who might be in families that are that have immigrant status, or they might not be documented. And the concern about turning in information through the federal financial aid form, that there might be some suppression of our Hispanic enrollment this year. And I think that's going to be systemic statewide for California community colleges. So haven't done that look at, what the statewide impact is, but I would not be surprised if there's a slight downward trend in enrollment for Hispanic students in this fall 25 campaign.
Ms. Fabos, do you have any thoughts on that?
I think that we've been doing as much as we can to try to outreach to students, specifically students from the immigrant population, to encourage them for aid to apply to the California DREAM Act application as opposed to the FAFSA. Their information is protected there more, to try to encourage them to come back, continue your education. We're a safe space, and we want students to enroll, and we're there to support them.
Yeah, good. Well, I hope they're hearing that message. I do. These are interesting times.
Interesting times for sure.
Interesting times. Well, this is a question my husband really said, you got to ask this one about that bridge.
Oh, gosh. We look at that eyesore every day.
What about that bridge?
And, maybe explain to the audience what we're talking about and tell us any good news about that if you can.
Please, yes, good news.
Yes, it was hit, I want to say the beginning of 2024. January of 24, the county started work along SoCal for improvement of those lanes and bike safety lane and a number of different improvements. And one of the contractors that was hired for that project had a backhoe on a flatbed and forgot to lower the backhoe arm and hit that bridge at about, I'm guessing about 30 miles an hour. And you can see the damage on the one side of the bridge. Right?
And it was so new and beautiful.
It was great. We just had painted it and new railings the prior fall. And I heard it in my office. So, I'm about 200 yards away from there. So long story short, what's happening with the bridge is after insurance company squabbling, lawyers, all the things that can happen with something like that, it's quite unique story. It's a bridge that spans a road, right, that connects two parcels of property that belong to Cabrillo College. But the question becomes, who owns the bridge over the road, right? So that was an issue to work out. But the long story short on it is insurance settlements are in. We are going to replace it and have ADA accessibility for that bridge.
Good.
It did not have that before. So it was built before 1992. Now ADA exists ever since. So the design of the repair is to not only replace the deck that got harmed, but also to make it accessible for a student who might be in a wheelchair, for example. So that project requires a tower with an elevator on one side of the street and a tower with an elevator on the other side of the street. That's a significant repair.
Yes.
All to be funded by insurance payment from not our insurance, but the offending party.
Oh, the contractor.
Yep. And so the designs are in the Division of State Architect, and we're looking to have that project start summer of 26. So that you'll see work on the bridge, but this is one where I wish I was a governor. I could go to a legislature and get a bill to say, I want to repair that bridge in 5 days.
Yeah.
Like the Baltimore case or other cases. I do not have such powers, but we do have the power to win an insurance settlement and
a major
get a
win.
redesign. Yeah.
That
will be a good
benefit.
outcome for the college.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that is good news.
Thanks.
It's great.
I
Thank
hate
you.
seeing that, just like your husband. It drives me crazy.
I know.
And it's right out your window.
Driving into work every day.
And you can't take it down until you are in the construction stages of the new.
That's correct.
Yeah.
We're regulated by Division of State Architect, so any project like that would have to get approval before we can do anything.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, I'm going to call that good news.
Yeah. Good things come to those who wait, right?
Exactly. Cabrillo College has a very large project about ready to break ground. Speaking of other things approved by the state architect, talk with us about that.
Sure. We have a major housing project with in collaboration with UCSC. So it's 624-bed housing project, 3 buildings that are designed for that. Kind of fronting Highway 1 down by our athletic fields, our overflow fields, we call them. A lot of youth soccer happens on those. That project has been designed over the process of, I want to say 9 months. The architecture designs have been submitted to, as I was just talking about, DSA, the Division of State Architect, in 2 phases. So there's a site land phase, increment 1, which talks about all of the utilities that are underground, all of the site work and leveling, grading work, trenching, utilities underground, things like that. So those are approved, and we're ready to run with doing that phase 1 work. The other part is the building. Everything that goes vertical above the ground is phase 2, which is a design that's obviously more complex. All the systems that have to be in the building, wiring, cabling, water, sewer, power, things like that, as well as the structures in the rooms. So the phase 2 review is in DSA right now. We've gotten comments back from them. We expect that those will be approved this fall. And so we're phasing this project to start the groundwork on September 29th.
Yeah.
And we're hoping then to start the vertical construction in December and going into the spring.
Wow.
This is a project that's going to take until July, August of 2027 to open. And then sequencing with that is the sale of bonds to make that all happen, which is going to occur in 2 different ways. One of the sales of bonds will be State of California general obligation bonds. We'll have some special legislation that will come through the legislature next week, signed by the governor.
Is that Senator Laird's work? Or
He's been tremendously helpful.
Yeah.
As a chair of budget for higher education. Senator Laird's been wonderful in making sure this project is going through. So he and his staff, Department of Finance, the Chancellor's Office for the California Community Colleges, all have been great to work with over the last month, particularly. So we'll have that sale of bonds that, if you remember, there was a state grant that we got applied for and got for $111 million to pay for our portion of the beds, essentially, Cabrillo's portion. And then the subsequent portion, the UCSC, is about 40% of the beds. We'd need to go out and do what are called revenue bonds that will be sold by the California Municipal Finance Agency on behalf of a nonprofit that we've gotten into an agreement with.
I was reading about that a little bit last night. And if either or both of you want to explain this a bit, because it's a complicated arrangement.
It is. It's an arrangement we started with in our application going back as far as late 21, early 22, when we submitted it. We said as a college and as a team that we wanted to pursue a public-private partnership that would be, obviously we're the public agency, it's our land. We'd have a private entity that would be a nonprofit that would run the dorms and actually run the project. So it's a ground lease with this nonprofit agency that we then turn to and have that entity have the ability to sell bonds that are tax-exempt nonprofit bonds. But those bonds are used to help pay for the construction of the facility itself. And that's where the private comes in as well. We have private developer connected with a private contractor and all the subcontractors required to do the work. And then on the tail end of that, the nonprofit ends up hiring a private provider to run and operate the residence halls once they're built. So it's complicated. There's a set of legal documents that have to get structured to build that arrangement, that organization. For our purposes as a college, we're the landowner. We're leasing the land to this entity to do this project. Once the bonds are paid off 35 years from now, let's say, that project that's been built and maintained and operated reverts to the college after the ground lease ends and all the bonds are paid off. So it's a way for an entity like us that's not in the business of doing housing. This is new to us, right? Yeah. And one of the things I said early on is I don't want to get into the business of running housing as an operation. Yes. Other entities do this. This is an entity, Collegiate Housing Foundation does this around the country in this kind of an arrangement with other universities and colleges around the country. So we went that route, and here we are. We're about to start doing the work.
It is incredible the rapid progress that has been made. I looked at the timeline, and usually things are, that was a year ago, and it's still not there. It is spot on with the timeline anticipated. Ms. Fabos, I'm sure you and your office have been very busy and involved in this too. What are your thoughts on all this?
We're really excited. This is going to be so wonderful for both Cabrillo students and UCSC students. And I think that one of the beauties of this housing project, of the many, in that it provides affordable housing for our students. But if students start at Cabrillo College and are in the housing development and then they transfer to UCSC, they can stay there throughout their entire
That's
college
really
career.
Nice. That is very nice. It will be 60% Cabrillo College students, 40% UCSC students.
Correct.
Yeah. And will there be a shuttle? I mean, the transportation issue.
That's a question, yeah. I get asked a lot about that. There are existing relationships that we have with Santa Cruz Metro and that UCSC actually has as well. So the plan for the moment is to ensure that the students will continue to have the ability to ride for free. Essentially, they're riding with subsidized rates of the ability to go anywhere in the route system. I think what we'll need to do with Santa Cruz Metro is contemplate maybe an adjustment in where the bus stops are for the campus and thinking about that, maybe closer to that residence hall. Yeah. Right now it would be about a 150-yard, 200-yard walk from the residence hall to the current stops that we have along Soquel as an example. But if there's a way for UCSC students to be using those routes systems as well, I think they're also a partner where they have a good relationship there with Santa Cruz Metro as well. Down the line, future in I don't want to get into the rail trail debate.
Yeah, I know. I saw you at that meeting.
You see me at a couple of meetings, but the design of the the train route actually envisions a stop that's right across Highway 1 from the college residence hall where the housing would be built. So that's long term, looking ahead into the future 8, 10, 15 years, whenever and if that were to happen. The design of that station route and then a pedestrian bridge or underpass that would connect directly to our college, and particularly right at the doorstep of our housing, is just fantastic. And so then it becomes an issue of a quick commute downtown on train, and then an intersegmental sort of bus connection point at that downtown center. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
The other part is that I think for UCSC students who are thinking about living in this residence hall versus housing on campus, it's 8.5 miles away, but there's also the traffic issue, right? Mm-hmm. But for some students, particularly if you think about families who might have kids, the advantage of having a child care center on our first floor of this residence hall, this housing complex, is going to be a really nice feature to be able to drop your child off and then commute to the campus for classes during the day, come back and be able to pick up their children at 5 in the afternoon is a real plus.
Yeah.
It's also going to be at a rate that's below the market rate. And so the affordability of the units in our development as compared to perhaps the units that might be in other on-campus or close-to-campus UCSC portfolio may be an attraction to them that, hey, you know what, it's worth the commute if I'm getting a cut on the rent and utilities, and I can live there, and it's not far from shopping, groceries. They'll have an on-campus experience here. I think our sports teams are going to love the fact that there are students in residence halls, and theater, music, events, all the kinds of things that students benefit from.
Yeah. That sounds like a great thing. I forgot about the child care center being there, but that is definitely a big plus, and an opportunity for your students also to intern and participate. So,
and it's historic also. I mean, there are other UC community college housing collaborations in the state, but this is the only one that's actually located on a community college campus.
Excellent.
We are the unicorn in the system.
For those of you who have just joined us, we are honored here today to have Dr. Matt Wetstein, the president of Cabrillo Community College, for a few more months, and Ms. Kristin Fabos from the business office and PIO for Community College there at Cabrillo. If you'd like to call in with your questions or comments, please do so. The number is 831-265-5050, and I'll be watching for your call. So I think it's important that you have explained the financing part, because that's always a concern. How are you going to pay for this? How is it going to pencil out? And how will those applicants, I'm sure you'll have many, or this would be the operator, the community, what's it called? College Housing Foundation. They're going to be the ones that are going to be taking in the applicants. There's going to be income qualifications, right? 100% or no?
No, one of the features of this, the qualifications to rent from in the housing complex will be first priority for students of most need, right? So in the sense of income thresholds where they are poorest, transitioning out of foster care, former veterans or active veterans, additionally homeless students. So they get first priority for the beds under the state statute that we're building this under. Then once you have met those needs, you then sort of waterfall to applicants from other students who might be seeking to live in the complex. But the rents are set by law to be 30% of 50% of median income in the area. what that translates to for students in current year dollars is around $1,050 per month on average. And so that if you compare that to some of the market rate rents that students are having to go and look for in the current market around Aptos, Capitola, SoCal, it's a bargain, right? So the exchange, though, under the statute is that we have to have the rents low and we have to have priority for students of most need. They have to commit to 12 units or more. They have to commit to doing good work and being a student in good standing with a C average or better. And as long as they meet their conditions, we'll meet the condition of meeting the rent, and they're off and running. So if you think about that 12-unit requirement, it's basically an exchange to say, hey, you're going to be a full-time student. You may be getting a Pell Grant with some federal support to help finance your rent and living expenses. And that means that you're going to complete on time. These are going to be 12-month leases, so they'll be able to take summer classes at the college and complete within 2 years an associate's degree, and then have the ability to transfer right over to UCSC and not have to move. Again, complete in 2 years there. So you're guaranteeing more students are going to complete in a timely manner to get out there in the workforce or get out there into, post-secondary ed, graduate degrees, whatever it is they're going to go after. But it's going to result in better and faster completion rates for our students.
Ms. Fabos, do you have any thoughts on this?
I just think that housing is so important to everybody, but especially to students. And it's been proven that once people have housing figured out, they can be much more successful in other parts of life. And there's a decent percentage of our students who are homeless or living in kayaks or couch surfing. And for this to be a solution for them will help them focus on their schoolwork, complete, and get other aspects of their lives.
Yeah. I was researching my favorite issue, the Environmental Impact Report. I always bring it up to you.
Me too.
And I saw that it had been, the 1999 EIR had been updated with an addendum.
Yes.
And that happened in November of last year, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
The issue brought up, I saw by one of the trustees, was water.
Yes.
And I'm sure traffic also was up. But what were some of the considerations that the trustees had around those issues, the environmental impacts of this very large structure?
It's a large housing complex, and as you know from your background, anytime you look into environmental impact reports of a project like this, there are multiple layers of it.
Yeah.
Water's one of them. One of the arguments we could make in the amended EIR was that the water use actually is likely to go down, even with a complex as big as this, for what the current use is. So if you think about a grassy field that needs to be watered for soccer play and irrigation, things like that, and then you think about the installation of low-flow toilets and water faucets, things like that throughout the whole development. And we're on a trajectory as a college itself of reducing our water usage over time, just because every time you do renovations, you end up retrofitting in these much more ecologically friendly appliances and fixtures, right? So water use should be good. And I think a story with SoCal Water District that we can tell for this region is that we've had shortages in the past, but a lot of good work has been done by folks on reducing consumption and also on the pure water SoCal project, water project that's going on. So long story short, water was actually a positive story in our EIR addendum. And in part, I can say that because we also have fewer students than were envisioned in the initial EIR. So we're going to have fewer students, even though we're building this project. The enrollment is much smaller than what was envisioned in the 1999 Environmental Impact Report. Same with traffic. trip miles and vehicle miles traveled actually should go down, not up, because of this student housing project. And the way to think of that, frame that thinking, is that you're actually taking commuters off of the roads because you're going to have about, well, in our case, about 340 students who aren't going to be commuting daily to the campus in Aptos. And so the net vehicle miles traveled goes down because of the project, not up. It's sometimes hard to wrap your head around and think, how could that go down? Parking's not an issue. Parking lot is there. We intentionally sited it next to a parking lot that we already have. It'll get repaved, restriped as a part of this project. And then I think, there are other kinds of cultural and biological and, trees, species concerns that have to get addressed, right? In this case, it's a site that had gotten some fill from our prior bond work when we built the Visual and Performing Arts Complex, for example, and the SAC East, SAC West that are right there at Soquel Drive.
Right.
Some of the fill from the grading actually landed there and was compacted down. So there's unlikely to be any kind of cultural impacts.
Artifacts was my question.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Native American artifacts are unlikely to be there, according to the studies that were done by our consultants. And the compaction that was done actually made it a good site from our engineering soils analysis.
That's good.
So there were all kinds of things that just kind of fell into place as we were going through this project. But the big picture ones on water and on traffic and vehicle miles were actually positives, net positives for us.
Well, that's good. That's very good. And again, going back to just the issue of having a place that is relatively affordable. To me, $1,050 a month is a lot of money.
Yeah.
But if you look at what is the going rate, it is, and it's providing the ability for these students to have an on-campus, away from home, getting on their own experience, meeting other people, more than just seeing them in classes and things. It's a good thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. We had a student at one of our forums leading up to this who was renting renovated garage, basically, and was paying $1,400 a month plus utilities.
Wow.
So she was really looking forward to this housing project.
Yeah. Now, in reading some of the documentation, there was also a little bit of a concern about this company called Greystar.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk with us about that?
The way I would describe it, Greystar is I would call it a multi-national corporation.
Yeah.
They have different divisions. So they run real estate management. They do developments like the student housing project. They do developments for multifamily housing around the country. And so I think one of the stories that's come out while we were going through the design of our project is they manage a real estate property for UCSC over by the university.
Yeah.
That's got some
Terrace.
criticism.
Yes.
Right. The folks we're working with are in a different division of Greystar. So that is a real estate wing of the company, and we're dealing with the student residence life development part of the company. And then they also have an operations part of the company. So they run student residence halls around the country. And they were part of the team that came together in putting a bid, a proposal in for our initial bid. We got 5 really strong proposals that came in from 5 different teams. And so I would say that what happened with our case is that the combination of experience of building residence halls, operating them at colleges and universities around the country, connected to probably the best top-rated developer construction firm in Silicon Valley, DevCon, coupled with the architecture firm that we had that came in with an incredible design for our students in our community, And then on top of that, to have the experience of CHF, this Collegiate Housing Foundation, as a part of the team.
Who's going to run it?
It's going to run it and oversee all of it as the leaseholder. That was the winning combination. I would prefer if Greystar didn't have these negative stories that, over on this other side of the company. But it's the case that when you deal with large real estate companies from around the country, they're going to have some projects that are going to draw attention. They're going to draw potentially litigation in some cases. So even thinking about the proposals when they came in, part of what we looked at was, have you been sued? What for? Within the last 10 years? What was the outcome? Things like that were a part of the vetting package. So, I just, to me, it's, I think about other vendors that we work with. As an example, we work with Google. We use the Google platform for all of our email and Google Docs and things like that. We work with Apple. They get sued all the time too. So it's, when you deal with large companies like this, you're going to have relationships that get exposed like that. I just have to say, okay, is that a part of our team? What's going on here? Why is this happening? But make sure that we're holding our due diligence with the folks we're working with as we go through this project. And I will say it's been great. I will also say having UCSC as a partner in the meetings to talk about how is this thing going to operate? What are the things to look for in the design and build of a residence hall? That expertise is in the room with us in a way that I didn't think through at the start of this project. But boy, have we benefited as a team in having that knowledge base, experience, understanding of what happens in residence halls, how to design them, along with us with, this is our first one. So, having that combination has been terrific.
Excellent. The name DevCon Construction brings to my mind, I have interviewed people here from the construction unions, and they kind of have an issue with DevCon.
Really?
And in fact, the UCSC construction project up there they've had some people from the local unions picketing. So you might just take a look at that. It had to do with wage theft.
Oh, yeah. In our case, all of those laws apply, and fair labor wage standards apply to the project. So, I guess I see it as one of the roles of my position, our finance office, our facilities planning office, and more importantly, the construction management firm that we have on our side as our representative, is to make sure that things like that don't happen, right? So if you've got a good team and you also have some oversight function built into the contract, so in our case, we're using Jones Lang LaSalle, which is, again, a real estate company for consulting. They've been our consultant alongside from the start, from the initial market study, helping write the application, helping with the meetings, and actually having them be the project manager for all of our meetings as we've gone through this project.
Oh, that's helpful.
I think the intent is to have JLL continue to play that role so that we're having that monitoring of what goes on during construction.
Yeah. Ms. Fabos, do you have any thoughts about accommodating, making sure that the local unions are accommodated in this construction project?
I think that was definitely taken into consideration, and something that's important to Cabrillo is a union environment ourselves. So I feel like the college has done due diligence in trying to make sure that was kind of safeguarded and upheld. And one thing I will add is that, we think that fall of 27 seems so far away.
Oh,
right?
no.
A couple years. But we're looking at starting lease applications. The leasing office is going to open this coming spring.
Wow.
And lease applications are going to be available in summer. Wow. So it's just around the corner.
It is. And the groundbreaking ceremony, is that going to be open to the public or private thing?
It's going to be advertised, so I think if public wants to show up, it's a public college. So.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But the thing that we're going to make sure happens is key players who've been involved. Senator Laird, for example, to have him there would be really important, and try to keep the speechifying to 15 or 20 minutes and then let people take pictures with shovels.
Yeah. And will there be, I'm sure, some renderings of what the facility will look like? How, yeah, I know it's 3 buildings, but how tall?
5 stories. And so it's intentional at that level. I think you know enough about construction, for example, wood frame construction at its base, and essentially you cap it at a certain height because of that. But the students who are on the, I think it's the south wing, I always get disoriented on that campus, who face Highway 1 on the 5th and 4th floor particularly, I'm pretty certain they're going to have really gorgeous views of the bay. And then for students who don't win the lottery and are facing the campus side or the mountain side, forest side, we've built, the architects, WRNS Studios, have intentionally been smart about building into the design these study spaces. They're on the 4th or 5th floor of that building that you can come and have a glass wall that looks out. There's a sky garden that connects on one of the central building, and then a sky bridge that connects over to that building that will have sort of at the 3rd story level connection right into a study hall. So the design elements that are there to have a rooftop garden on one building, and then these other study community spaces that can benefit all the students, and play yards and activity areas within the site. Beautiful play yard for the child care center.
Nice.
It's a very well designed building. So much so it just won an award from our California Community College Facilities Coalition. Is going to honor the project in early November as a design of merit, award of merit for its
Excellent.
design. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, congratulations. That's wonderful. You know, I told you time would fly by, and we've got 7 minutes.
Oh my gosh. Wow, it did.
I want to thank you for explaining this project so well. And there will be an oversight group that will be monitoring. Once this project is up and running, it'll be Cabrillo College, UCSC, and a member of this CHF Community Housing Foundation.
Yeah.
How do people learn more about what this is going to all look like and how it's going to operate? Is there a page on the Cabrillo website?
There is. It's cabrillo.edu/housing. And we've got the renderings up there. We've got some of the planning documents up there. There's an FAQ, and we're constantly adding more information. We'll have the groundbreaking details up there very soon. So that's the best source of information.
Excellent. And how do people, students who may want to apply, find those applications and the process to do so?
Not up there yet. We just are hiring a housing director who's starting on November 1st. And so part of that role of that job is to interface with CHF, and Graystar will be in the operations side of this to make sure that we start to have the marketing materials, the application materials and available. So that stuff will get built out over the next 9 to 12 months. And then once those materials are ready to go, there's a requirement that we're going to have it available, obviously, on the Cabrillo website. It's also going to be available on the UCSC website, and marketed by them as well. So we have commitments that we need to make to each other to ensure that we are making the information available to the students.
Well, there's a lot of good partnership and collaboration going on this. It's really nice to see, and I'm glad it's so successful. Thank you.
Thank you.
In our last few minutes, Dr. Wetstein, you're getting ready to head off. What have you enjoyed most about your time at Cabrillo College?
Oh, the students are great. The other thing I really enjoy, it's the faculty reputation is off the charts.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. So we have an incredible staff and faculty. I hear about it every time in the grocery store. People love their experience at the college. So that's been a lot of fun. And then just getting involved in the community and, working with community partners, for example, on this project, on other stuff related to, whether it's business, community, chamber, Rotary, the Symphony, Agriculture Foundation. There's just been so many fun things that I've been able to do. So it's partly, I like to think like part of the fun of the job is actually on the campus day to day and dealing with students and faculty and staff. And then the other half of it that's fun is the community engagement.
Mm-hmm. And my husband cautioned me, don't talk about the name change.
You just
Too
did.
soon. Too soon, Becky.
But it isn't buried. It could still come up again.
Yeah, the way the trustees handled it in, September 23, I guess it was, we're not going to talk about it for 5 years at the earliest. So 2028 would be the earliest that it would come back for conversation. And instead, let's focus on supporting Native American students who have suffered harm in our region, our community. It's multi-generational harm.
Yeah.
And so the college has done good work at trying to build connections with the indigenous community. We've outreached a lot and collaborated with, for example, UCSC's American Indian Resource Center.
Nice.
They run the powwow. We co-sponsored some of that with some funding from the college last spring. And then we hired a Native American specialist for ethnic studies faculty position who just started this fall at the college and is teaching now in ethnic studies, intro ethnic studies courses, and also that Native American specialization that will come in handy. So this college is focusing on those kinds of things that can benefit students in our community and the community relationships that we have with tribes. And we're trying to organize as well on November 15th in sort of a workshop for educators on the standards for teaching about Native American history. Mm-hmm. California legislature and governor have made it a law that you have to teach the bad with the good. It can't just be about building, missions with toothpicks anymore. You have to tell the true story of what happened during that period of colonization. So we want to get educators together on the campus and have a conference around that.
That's excellent. Thank you. We have 30 seconds, and I want to just say, when is your successor going to be chosen?
They've already started the search process. I think applications there may be a window that they're due somewhere in mid-September.
September 15th.
All right, very good.
There's a search consultant firm. There's a selection committee that's been appointed by the college trustees. Interviews probably happen October. On-campus interviews probably in November for the finalists. Yeah. And my fingers are crossed that they're ready in January 1.
Excellent. President Matt Wetstein, Ms. Fabos from Cabrillo Community College, thank you so much for taking time to interview today.
Thank you, Becky.
Thank you, Becky.
Thank you.